How do you update a system on a company that's been around since the Dodo went extinct? Well, that's what we're going to be exploring this week in the Data Radio Show. Hello there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Data Radio Show. This week we're going to be taking a look at a case study about a client in the heavy grade steel plate industry. It's a heavy manufacturing industry that's been around since the 1680s. You know, the time that the Dodo went extinct. It's a hell of a long time. But they needed to upgrade their systems. They've been in operation for a very long time. They've got 6,500 employees contributing to the industrial heart of the region in Germany that they're in. So we're going to sit down and have a look at this case study being presented by Tim and Lorenz again that they did, I think it was early April, early May, one of them in Melbourne, Australia. So let's jump over, check that out. But before then, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video or share the channel. All right, let's jump over and check out the presentation.
It's the heavy plate industry, and we actually helped this specific client implementing their own database without platform. And Lorenz told about the ages of his clients, and I can definitely beat this one because this client in the steel industry is already around for some time, and this particular client is operating since the 1680s. So it's been around. That's some time. Yeah, true. So this specific client is the global leader in production of high quality steelworks. You can basically find their products in all construction works, offshore projects, critical infrastructure projects all around the world. Eiffel Tower as well. Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be. The factories of this client, they actually produce more than 1.8 million tons of steel per year. So that's quite some steel. You can imagine quite some factories involved, quite some partners along the value chain. And this is like the client that we were engaged in is, again, like in this case, it's the parent organization. They have a lot of subsidiaries handling multiple parts of the value chain. But we are now here involved at the top level, handling the global challenges. As already told you, it's in operation since the 1680s. It now has roughly 6,000 employees. It's not that much, to be honest. But it's mainly located in Germany. And in the specific region in Germany, the Saarland, maybe you heard of it, it basically is a big role and a big employer. Because it really contributes to the industrial area in this specific region. Saarland is the smallest Bundesland or state, the smallest state in Germany. So you can imagine that the employer with 6,000 employees, everybody knows that, right? So this is a big local organization. They wanted a couple of things. So as I told you, they have partners and subsidiaries involved in almost all steps of creating steel, which is a complex process. And if you have many partners involved and many handover points, it's very likely that there are some inefficiencies. I mean, you will always find inefficiencies. And one of the big goals here was to get a global picture of what is happening from the beginning to the end to identify all those inefficiencies. If you find them and if you can then erase them, this gives you a huge competitive in the market, right? Then real-time monitoring of the quality of what they actually provide. So you can imagine as sooner as you see flaws in the product quality, the cheaper it gets to fix those quality issues, right? So it all comes down to the money, right? As I said, they have many different companies. They also acquire new companies over time. And they have, of course, the companies had data before, right? So they have a lot of, again, multiple source systems that don't have the same data for it, but they want to be able again to provide some kind of global analysis, and for that they need to get back all the data and make it actually comparable. So that's again a big goal to actually give you when you want to be able to make decisions and you want to know the numbers of your whole organization. And then last but not least, because they have all of these companies and subsidiaries, they also have I would say power users scattered across all those existing companies. And that's why they want to build a self-service base where people can run the ad hoc or their ad hoc analysis based on trusted data, data that gives them reliable outcomes every time. So a lot of goals here. Yeah.
So just curious, what were the types of data business like this? Like, was there any visual recognition, for instance?
Yeah, they have stuff like that. They have images of the production lines, for example, which need to be handled. They have sensor data coming in as JSONs or whatever. But they also have classic stuff like financial numbers, HR data. But yeah, as you can see, it's basically everything that you can imagine occurs in such an environment.
So I can imagine that visual recognition is probably the best way of trying to figure out the quality of the steel.
Yes, I mean I'm not that into steel, but I would assume that it will strongly depend on visuals, but the visuals are not that trustworthy without any numbers belonging to them, right? So I guess it's a combination of the sensor data giving the actual numbers and quality.
I think they're making some tests on the steel as well.
Yeah, hardness test.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many goals here. So the project ended, but I'm not sure. I think we were engaged a couple of years. So you can see a lot of goals. So a lot of work to be done. The solution that we came up with, it was on the one hand, of course, again, data vault. Data vault really helped here to get all those source data and source systems back together and make them comparable. We integrated them. We had, for example, a product hub fed by more than 30 source systems because they all share the same semantic meaning of a product, right? So that's very, I would say, a standardized way to bring back all those different source systems that we have. Then again, we have automation. In this case, we used WhereScape, both 3D and red. So we did modeling, data modeling in WhereScape, and the actual physical implementation of data vault within WhereScape. And with this, it was just it still is a sustainable framework that really helps growing and scaling over time while being audited. And last but not least, this client was particular, for him it was particularly important that we enabled them to jump off what we did, right? So what we did here was a lot of training sessions, workshops to get all the team that had to work with this platform in the future to be able to maintain it, to enhance it in the future. So it was a big part here was also training and enablement. And the results in this specific case, they were able, so if like a customer, end consumer goes to the client, orders steel, I don't know, they are now able to see the real-time status of that order, and they could be shown, for example, hey, 20% of your steel is already in production right now, the other 80% is still being mined, I don't know, but that's what they can now provide to their customers, which is again a big advantage on the market, right? If you're the client, or in this case the consumer, this is great because you can now rely on the order status of a product that you actually ordered at this specific client. The data of all the source systems is now comparable. So if you think about financial KPIs, they are now valid for all companies that's part of this organization, which is again a big advantage. And what they were able to do is they were allowing people to do those ad hoc analysis. And there are some cases where these ad hoc analysis they led to some new research projects within the company, which were not able before. I mean, that was unimaginable in the old situation. So now they really have this trusted data foundation where if they find something or if they had some insights on this foundation, they're now able to justify investments into research based on this findings. Because the trust in the data foundation is now like really high.
Hey, I want to thank Tim and Lorenz again for putting this together. It's a really fascinating look into how you modernize something that needs to keep being modernized, going from literally the industrial start of the Industrial Revolution long time ago through to what we've got today with our digital revolution. It's fascinating stuff to sit down and look at. Don't forget to make sure that you sit down and hit that subscribe button, like button, share the video. And if you want more information about this kind of stuff and to meet other people within the community, check out our school page. It's linked in the description down below. Go along, there's classrooms where you can learn stuff from and other people within the industry that you can meet and talk to and get some advice from. All right, until next time, look after yourself, live long, prosper, be one with the force, and we'll catch you all next time.